Hey, Doug Upstone here for Vegas Pro Insiders Daily. Today is Wednesday, November 1st, and we start a new month. And temperatures starting to get a little chilly in a lot of places around the country here, and even seeing a decline here in the Grand Canyon state, especially this far down south. So just a little chill in the air. Winter's coming. A lot of people like it. I like the winter in Arizona myself, so I'm actually pretty good with the way things are. Let's talk some NFL. We got some line moves to cover for you. Plus, we have two free picks. Both are going to be out of college football on Thursday night, so we'll get to those in a minute. Now, somebody asked me, I got an email the other day from somebody asking me about what I think about analytics in terms of how people view them for using for football, and using different elements in terms of systems that people have come through with these, different programs and stuff. And here's my response, and this is what I said to them basically just through the email, is that, a lot of this newer stuff is really good, okay? It's very useful. It's very helpful, okay? There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. The only thing that's wrong, I guess I'm talking two things at the same time here, but the only thing that's not correct about this is that the information that they're using is no different, or in maybe some cases not even as good as what the sports books or the odds makers have, because the odds makers are not exactly sitting back and got a notebook out and writing numbers like they did 30 years ago, 40 years ago or more. They're not doing that anymore. They have computer programs. They have the same types of data. Okay, that's how they're coming up with these lines. So to assume or to think that somebody is, because they're saying they have put together algorithm-based systems and algorithms that show that this team should cover more often, and they're better than what they are. Here's my question: why is not more money then being made in Vegas and other sports books because of this? Oh, sure, there's always possibly a few individuals that do well in certain times at certain points, But the fact of the matter is that stuff, it's no different. It's newer, but it's no different. And so, someone like myself, I've added those things into what I do for my own needs, but I still have my basic fundamentals that I follow, and that's how I construct my wagering. Okay, my selections is based on that, not on saying that I have something that's magical. And it's still about hard work. It's still about going through, studying everything that's possible, being able to roll with the changes. That's how this works. That's how you beat the sports books. That's why I've been on this nice run, of late in the NFL, being number one at two different sports monitors. It's because you learn as you go along, and you don't use one method, and you understand there's not one method. So you put the whole package together, all the tools, and this is why I have done what I have done with Vegas Pro Insiders Daily, is to put those types of tools together to help you win. And for $39.99 is all that cost. Plus you get my selections on top of it if you don't have the time to do that much, to dig that deep. So, okay, so that answers that question. A little bit longer winded than I anticipated here, but I wanted to give you the full regalia on that one. So let's talk some NFL football first. The LA Rams are going to be at the New York Giants, and the total on this one has crumbled from 43.5 down to 42. Now, this despite the fact that the Rams are averaging 30 points per game. The juxtaposition, though, on the other side is that Giants are averaging 16 points a game. The Giants have no offensive weapons for an aging Eli Manning to be able to utilize with all their injuries that they've had. And he doesn't and the guys that he have, other than his tight end, he really doesn't have many players that he can trust when he's out there. So I can't disagree with how that's certainly going. 51% of the people are on the under at the present time. Next up, AFC, Cincinnati at Jacksonville. Now, clearly, somebody has a lot of faith in Jacksonville. And I'm not saying it's completely unwarranted, but they've taken them from -3.5 up to -4.5. And in some cases, I've seen some 5s as well on this game. Now the Bengals, as I wrote or mentioned, if you went to the website, last week they deserved to lose. I mean, Indianapolis outplayed them and just made a horrible mistake at the end of the game. Cincinnati put no effort. They're just on. I don't know what's wrong with this team, other than the fact that it's going downhill. So taking them, that's not exactly comfortable. And they're 2-10 against the spread after having a game with a turnover margin of +1 or higher. But Jacksonville, really? I mean, Jacksonville has gone from horrible to inconsistent. A case in point this year, and this is not, I'm saying this is not a handicapping method, but case in point, odd numbered weeks, betting Jacksonville 4-0. Even numbered weeks, betting Jacksonville 0-3. Right now, this is an even numbered week. Again, I'm not saying it's a handicapping strategy, but it certainly creates doubt for this game. Right now, 77% of the people are taking Jacksonville. Houston heads out to Indianapolis, and nobody's going to be caught off guard on this one for the total rising from 48 to 50. This one has all the markings of a high-scoring game. Both teams are 5-2 over on the season. In fact, Houston's 5-0 in their last 5 contests. So 5-0, that's a 5-0 over in their last 5 contests. Deshaun Watson's been fantastic, and has been a driving force into them scoring so many points. He's got great weapons around him, and he has done his job. And also the fact that they are so depleted on defense now. They've given up 33.3 points per game. Indianapolis, as we know, horrible on defense, not especially good on offense, except for making turnovers that lead to points for the other team. So that certainly lends itself to an over. 96% of bettors are on the over on that one. Back to the NFC is Arizona is at San Francisco. Arizona's coming off a bye and has been moved from -1 up. The whole story. -1 to -2.5 Tuesday during the day, back down to -2 at night. You could make an argument that the 2 San Francisco quarterbacks now, including recently traded, or I should say acquired, Jimmy Garoppolo, are better than what Arizona has to offer, except for in the experience category. Talent-wise is what I'm talking about there. But there's really not a great logical reason here to take San Francisco in this one. But Arizona, their last 3 games, they've given up 33.3 points per game. If San Francisco is going to break through and end this 0 2017 season, this seems like a pretty good spot. 52% of bettors are on Frisco at this time. Another high-scoring or potentially high-scoring game is going to be Kansas City and Dallas. These two teams, Kansas City is 3rd in scoring. The Cowboys are 5th. Both of teams rank in the bottom half of points allowed in the NFL. Not below, just below the midpoint on this one. Now, you don't have to be the Secretary of the Treasury in terms of studying numbers to understand why the total went from 48 to 51. Okay, these teams can score, as I just mentioned. Their defenses aren't great. I think that both of them can move the ball. The other key factor to me as to why this potentially looks like a pretty good overplay, despite the fact that it's going up, I'm not sure I'd go higher, but despite the fact that it's going up, is the fact that both teams don't turn the ball over. So because of that, their drives tend to be more complete, okay, in terms of what occurs. And by not turning the ball over, they get the points that they earn in that regard. 62% of bettors are on the over. Now let's look at a couple of college games that are going to take place on Thursday. Now, one of them we talked about yesterday, which was Northern Illinois and Toledo being a big game, especially in the MAC West. On that one, the Northern Illinois opened at +10, went down to +9. And today, as of November 1st, they're at +8. The total continues to fall, opened at 58, went down to 56 on Tuesday, and now is at 55. On this one, NIU, I think, is still worth a look at +8. The key number is involved there, but obviously +10 was a heck of a lot better. So, I more of a lean on that one. And the same thing with the total. All the way down, 3 points down to 55. Just not quite as sure about that one. So let's just put me down for Northern Illinois and under, but certainly not a big play. The other game, a Sun Belt actions, Idaho and Troy. That's going to be on ESPNU immediately following the NIU Toledo game. Now, on this one, the total went from 49 to 51. Now, if you just let's break it down by the numbers. So, and I will try not to go too fast here. Idaho's averaging 54.2 points per game, so that's certainly over the total. When you look at what Troy puts up on the scoreboard this season, their average is just a little over 42 total points. So at 51, not exactly playing the middle, and neither is 49. Now, in the last 3 years, when these teams have played, the totals have varied from 58 to 62 and a half. And the highest score in those 3 games, combined score, was 50 points, and that was in 2014. So all 3 games previously were unders. Now, Troy has scored 70 points in their last 2 games, so you have to consider that. And you also realize that Idaho's defense is certainly not special, and they're capable of allowing 35 or more points. Still, I'm going to take a look at here. And look, Troy is 7-1 under this year. Since last year, since 3 years ago, or in the past 3 years, they're 10-2 under after a home game. So for my money, at 51, I'll go under on Troy and Idaho. So hey, this is everything I have for today. Hope that helps you out. Make some money on the free picks on those. So this is Doug Upstone for Vegas Pro Insider Daily. I'll be back on Friday to talk a whole bunch of college football and give you a whole bunch of college football picks, because as of right now, I am out.